Okay, we should be up actually.
Cool.
Yeah. We're eventually going to have to get another camera. Let me just make sure we're actually on the YouTube channel. That way we don't feel like we're just doing something for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, like... Now I got to go find our YouTube channel. Because when you
don't
start...
want to waste your time.
When you start... Yeah, you don't want to waste your time with a podcast that no one's listening to.
Yeah, exactly. No one's paying attention to.
Yeah, exactly. What would be the point of that in Los Angeles? The thing about YouTube is, I'm starting to see what people are talking about. There is a bit of like a gatekeeper, kind of like you have to be somebody to be found. Because if you search our comedy office, we don't even pop up right now. We're so new. They won't even give us an official like URL until we've been doing it for 30 days and have at least 20 subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah. So I gotta go find out if we're actually doing this right now. Where would I go to do that? Subscriptions show. This is going to be a very impromptu, but I do have something I do think we can talk about.
Okay.
Don't worry, I didn't go into this 100% blind, but I figure we get it started now. I feel like Los Angeles has needed a new like kind of like comic hang podcast, and I just feel like we'd be the right guys to start
we
that.
tried with Alienate the Audience, and that wasn't good.
You tried with Alienate the Audience.
I
wasn't there. I'd been there. That place would have went to the top. You guys would have broken up. No, you would have broken out, not broken up. Jesus Christ, dude! How do you navigate YouTube? I don't use it that often.
I wouldn't know how to find something like this. And if you can't find it, then who's watching this?
Well, I did link to it. It's actually at the top of my fucking page. There you go. Oh, we're doing it. We're awesome.
Cool.
We're up. I guess I can go here and see. Can we go here and see if anyone's chatting with us? Okay. Oh, shit. That was a bad idea.
Oh, it's behind.
Okay. Well, that's good. It should be
that's good.
A little delayed,
you got
right?
a subscriber?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, of
I
course.
assumed, yeah.
I'm the one subscriber. That's fine. Okay. I guess we don't really have to even introduce ourselves because anyone's going to be watching this at first. Is probably. I mean, do first episodes even matter? How many podcasts have you started so far?
Too many.
But like,
3.
and every one of them, like, do you feel like the first episode made a fucking difference?
Yeah. I mean, people listen back to episodes.
Right, but it's never like, oh my god, like it's your first episode that kept me here. If anything, it's always the worst episode.
Well, and the idea that any of the episodes kept us there is.
I don't know, dude. I know you want to delete all of your past episodes now because you still think for some reason you'll get on SNL at some point. No.
I just don't want to miss out on money or selling tickets at some point.
You gotta like, and as a fellow Jew, I totally understand that.
I don't expect anything, but I don't think Shane Gillis expected anything either.
But you gotta agree that he's better off because of what happened. You don't think so?
He's out of the news. Nobody knows who he is anymore.
Well, we talk about this. It's because he didn't capitalize on it as best as he could have. Like, he had opportunities that were given him, and he was holding out for bigger ones.
So he's not better off.
But that's his own fault.
Yes.
You got to admit that was
he fucked up a little bit.
There was an opportunity there for him.
But I don't think it helped him. If he had gotten some other show that wasn't quite as high profile, that didn't get him in the news for negative reasons,
yeah,
then he's got eyeballs on him. He can sell tickets, and then he's better off, I think, than having tons of negative press.
I don't agree. Okay, so take Louis C.K. for instance.
Okay.
Like,
he's not better off.
If he was doing a show in Los Angeles, would you not try to get a ticket?
But he can't do a big venue. There are gonna be people picketing out front.
Yeah, but I'm asking you right now. Would you go to that show?
But I'm not a good litmus test for that. I'm not part of the American public the way that most of his fans are.
Okay, would it be beyond your belief that it would sell out?
Yeah, he'll probably sell a lot of tickets everywhere.
It would sell out, dude.
I don't think he's gonna sell out Madison Square Garden right now, and he was.
I think he would. I don't think Madison Square Garden would let him be there.
That's why it's bad.
So because you're looking at it like he can't make a certain amount of money right now.
No, he just isn't as successful as he was. It's
because he can't make as much money as he used to.
It's measurable.
I would say the people who want to see him...
He can't go on TV.
I would say people want to see him more than ever now.
Well, it's splintered. More people wanted to see him before. And now
there's
a smaller group of people who really want to see him, and then a bunch of the people who used to like him who don't like him anymore for political reasons.
Right.
So he cut his viewership or his audience.
Well, it seems like what he did is he polarized his fans to the point that there's people who will never, ever want anything to do with him again and will never pay for a ticket. And there's people who will want to see the next show.
As someone who sells tickets professionally is a problem.
I guess it depends on how much you're selling those tickets for, though.
He sells them for cheap. That was his whole thing.
Okay, I get. Well, that's the thing I learned about us today is that like you're definitely more financially driven. I'm very more like
I'm financially driven because I don't have any fucking money.
But you're looking at like it's got to be. He has plenty of money. Shane
and
Gillis
he
is
lives
gonna
in
have
shame,
money.
and he has to hide.
Yeah, I know, but
That's not. I don't understand why you think that's better.
I think it's because I think I'm always
People
looking
scream at him
I'm-
and throw hot dogs at him when he walks down the
Do
street.
they
And you're
really
like,
do
he's
that?
better off.
Do they
I think
really
he's
do that?
probably.
It's just I'm
He has to
much-
shield his face from paparazzi now.
Well, that's
And he's
that's
saying
fame.
he's
Though.
better
That's
off.
fame. Taylor Swift has to hide herself from paparazzi too. Fame
But
makes people
the
chase
stigma
you.
is not irrelevant.
What do you mean the stigma's not irrelevant?
Taylor Swift, didn't jerk off in front of people. Now everybody knows that about him.
Right, but and it's only because of the culture we live in right now that we're villainizing that particular act.
Yeah.
If people had known that about him 10 years ago, no one would have cared.
But it's not benefiting him.
I think in the long term it is.
It's not.
I think if you think about it
He's
long
no longer a
term.
mainstream act.
So you think 10 years from now, where will he be? Where is he going to be 10 years from now?
dead?
You think he'll kill himself or someone will kill him?
He's unhealthy. He'll probably be dead.
Okay, so how will we remember? Okay, well then I guess there's
And we're going to remember him for being the weird guy who masturbated in front of people.
I'm going to remember him for being the comic genius who masturbated
here's your
in front
problem.
of people.
Your perception of the public opinion of someone is based on your opinion of someone.
Well, my opinion, I think I just hold in higher esteem than the public opinion. And I think
Which is a little bit problematic when you're measuring the public opinion on
yeah.
someone.
Well, yeah, but that's what also keeps me happy. In
I
life.
think everybody feels better about Louis because I do.
Well, I think everyone should feel better about Louis because I'm cool with it.
Yeah, so you're being idealistic, which is fine.
I think if I
But
were,
it's also just
I think if
incorrect
I
measurement.
let me put it this way: when I look at my life the way it is now, and I'm very happy with a lot of things I have going on for me.
Mhm.
But it's like when I think about would I take
Like
what
this podcast,
yeah, like this,
where
like
you're
this
the only
one.
person watching.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like a great example. If Louis C.K. was on this fucking podcast right now, everyone would be watching it.
How do you?
So my point is,
you can't say everyone.
My point is, okay, God, Jesus Christ, dude.
There
Are we
wouldn't-
going to
no,
be
the
that
thing
person?
is- No, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Not every person.
If Louis C.K. was on this podcast 2 years ago,
Yeah.
more people would watch it than now.
No, I disagree. Actually,
You're wrong.
no, I think okay. So you're telling me Louis C.K. Let's say he came on Joe Rogan 5 years ago.
Yes.
That's going to get bigger numbers than Louis C.K. now.
Yes.
With all the controversy and scrutinization.
Yes.
People, you know that people would be hate watching that shit, trying to pick out some sort of like foul thing he said.
You'd rather people love watch you than hate watch you.
I don't know. See, you're talking about money, though. You're talking.
I'm not talking about money.
You're,
I'm talking about eyeballs.
You're talking about ticket sales. You're like, okay, he's not selling out Madison Square Garden. He's not making as much money.
But now
as
we're
he
talking
could
about
have.
the number of people who are watching. I think more people would have watched 5 years ago.
I totally disagree because if our current climate shows anything right now, people are more interested in watching stuff that outrages them than stuff they actually enjoy.
And again, for 3 minutes.
I think they would, well, depending on how compelling it was, yeah, they would probably watch it for as long.
Nobody
as,
watches anything for that much time anymore.
Well,
anyways.
they'd listen to it. They'd put it on their car and in the middle of like
Maybe.
405 traffic and start bitching like a fucking crazy person about, oh my god, I can't believe this guy has a platform. This
I
is
mean,
ridiculous.
People, supposedly, Howard Stern's listeners who hated him when he started listened longer than the people who liked him.
So there you go. Evidence that I'm right.
No, but the Howard Stern thing was that they didn't like what he was saying. It's not that they didn't like him and what he had done as a human being. I think people will actively avoid someone like Louis C.K. because they don't like his behavior.
People, like, I've heard stories like from other comics and other podcasts of like people like they will approach Louis and actually be kind of friendly with him and then go off and talk shit about him like on their Twitter and stuff like that. Like just random fans and stuff
Okay.
like that. Like there's just like he is.
But you're looking at it through the lens of a comic. I think the lay person
No, I'm
is
looking
less
at-
interested in Louis C.K. now.
No, I'm looking through the lens of just like an objectivist, which I know is a terrible word to use. But my point is like at the end of the day, like when you think about like his trajectory and just his notoriety, it's like people who didn't know who Shane Gillis was before he got on.
Nobody
SNL.
knows who he is now.
Well, they know his name. They
No,
know
don't.
his name.
We do.
I talked to people
you're
who are in
biased as a
comedy. I've
comic.
talked to people who are in comedy. They've heard the Shane Gillis thing. They might not remember it now because it's been like a week. And
Because
I agree.
it's been a week.
And I agree. And that's an argument.
And now
about-
Louis is gone too because it's been a year.
But all he's got to do is do one more set again at like Skankfest or at a club in
his
Florida.
His audience has shrunk.
I think the people who admit that they want to listen to him
He's
and
got
wanna
more
pay for him-
passionate fans. People who like him more.
Okay,
probably.
so do you think it's impossible for him to turn that around? You think it's impossible, much like Luis Gomez,
for
will
him
bring
to
people who-
completely turn around and sell out Madison Square Garden 3 nights in a row? Yeah, it's impossible.
You think it's impossible?
Yes.
You do not believe he can have a comeback.
Complete comeback? I don't think so. At this point,
I think he could come back bigger and better than ever. I think it would take him living another 10 to 20 years, but I think he can come back bigger and better than ever.
That's the difference between us. And also, he's gonna die, like I said.
Right. You're probably on the right side of history right now, and you're probably right. He's probably gonna die.
Right side of history. I just think he's not a very healthy guy, and he got in trouble for masturbating.
I'm on the right side of clinical, of clinical
And it's
physiology.
just- he doesn't pass an eye test when it comes to health. He's got high blood pressure. He's overweight, and his stress levels through the roof. He got caught masturbating.
I know. He got caught masturbating. Oh shit! We got phone people. Wouldn't it be funny if someone who's watching this calling? In?
That's why I want money.
I've been there too, dude. I still get fear. I won't answer any number I don't recognize because even though I have all my debts finally taken care of, whenever I see a number I don't recognize, it's.
I don't answer numbers I recognize. I think my dad's a debt collector now. I don't pick up anything.
You think they got him enrolled?
Yeah,
They
I
went
owe
to his
everybody
house.
money.
They're like, we're gonna sit down here. We're gonna wire the phone. We need you to call your son.
Yeah.
Ask him about his Spectrum
There's
account.
a good chance that I owe someone money who's in my phone
What's
book.
the biggest debt you have right now? Can you share that?
Well, I just paid off a fucking repossessed car.
Right, so that's
I have nothing.
Okay, you have no money, but what's the biggest like debt collecting thing that people are going after you for?
Oh.
I'll give you mine.
I have a lot of credit. I probably have like 10,000 in credit.
That's exactly the number I had too.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I had a credit card I racked up to 10. This is what happened. I had a credit card. It was my favorite credit card. It had the highest line of credit. It was also for frequent flyer miles. I had racked up like $8,000 already, right? Like in debt, and I was paying it off little by little. But then I tried to buy some plane tickets with my mileage, and it turned out that like 2 days before I decided to do that, they closed my card automatically because my bank that was connected to them for the third time did not pass a payment, and for some reason their policy is to close the entire card after that, and your miles that I'd racked up over like a course of like 7 years gone. So instead of being a reasonable adult, just be like, well, shit happens. I was like, well, I'm just never going to pay that credit card again then.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Currently.
So then 5 years
actually
later,
can't even
knock
use
at
my-
the door.
I can't use my Chase account.
You can't use your Chase account?
Because I had money overdrawn for rent 1 month, and I just haven't paid it off.
Yeah, no, I think it's finally gone. But there was a PNC bank account I had that had negative $300 for about 7 or 8 years.
Right.
And the only way I found it out was one day because I'd forgotten about the bank account. I guess I wasn't using it, and I called them up one day and be like, "Do I have any money in that account?" They're like, "Actually, you owe us $300." I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get that to you tomorrow." And I hung up and never called them back again.
No, I owe Chase $1,000, and I get stuff in the mail saying if I don't have any activity in my account, they'll shut down my account permanently.
And how long has it been since they made that threat?
2 months.
Yeah.
It's already shut down.
Oh, it is shut down.
I have a feeling it is.
You just don't even check.
I already lost a credit account with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I paid it off, but I can't get a new credit card with them.
Don't worry. This is all part of the story, buddy. At least you didn't
That's
get
what
caught
they say.
masturbating in front of anyone.
It's true.
Who would you rather be, in your situation or Louis C.K.'s situation?
Well, I'd rather be in my situation because I don't know what's going to happen still. Louis is pretty much done.
You would rather be in your situation
Because anything could happen.
than have a family, a boat.
It's exciting to see what's going to happen. I don't want to be done with my comedy
I
career
don't
like
think
Louis.
he's done. You really think he's done?
Yeah, I think he's done.
Wow, I didn't realize we were so polarized on this.
Here's the thing. Done. I'm being extreme, but he's already climbed pretty much to the top of comedy and fallen.
I see it. You see him as he's already climbed to the height of his.
I like to see what happens.
Yeah, you like to see
me.
what you can reach.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty romantic.
That's why I'd
I
rather be
appreciate
me.
that. Yeah, I can say that, but if someone said today, like Erickson, like I don't want to be 50 and like unhealthy, obviously. That I don't want.
Yeah.
But if someone said you can still
You want to be a 50-year-old caught masturbator who's on his deathbed, basically?
No, but I wouldn't mind being a 33-year-old who got caught masturbating, who has his level of talent and his career trajectory so far. Like if someone's like, you can have basically everything he has, but you're still like in this body.
Oh.
I'm like, I'll take that.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I'll
The
take
first
it.
question was a much better question.
You're saying because you're saying if Louis had another 50 years, he could probably turn it
Oh,
around.
yeah.
But it's because it's like he's already
Time's not on his side.
Okay, I get it. No, you're right.
There are very few
You do reach a point in life.
notable 60-year-old comics. There are very few.
You're right. You do reach
40 to 60 is the sweet spot, and he's almost done with that. And he's looked like he was 50 since he was 27, so he's really way past that.
Yeah, I know, dude. No, I mean, when you look at him, it's funny. I looked at him now, and I saw an old video of him from like even just 10, 20 years ago, and he looked old back then. But now you see what he looks like
He was
now.
in his mid-30s, and he was an old man.
You already
And
looked like he
it
was
added
50.
to his voice, and it actually helped him as a comic.
No, we were
He
talking
had-
about that. You
Yeah.
actually started making me. You were talking about how like he and a lot of other comics just kind of leaned into their older look,
The comics who do that are the most successful comics.
and it made me think about myself doing that. And I think I started wearing like old man sweaters.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna shave the middle of my head so I'm bald.
That would look insane.
Look crazy.
You would be on the level of Callahan and all the other alt comics who are trying to just stand out. Why don't you just jump into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle outfit at that point and
I
just
might do
like
it.
go the opposite direction instead of acting like an old man? Just dress like a child.
Yeah, wear a diaper on stage.
There you go. Yeah, a diaper and a Supreme hat. That's all you need. Just like be like the Supreme baby.
I love that. The 40-year-old hack
The
who
sa-
wants to dress like a skateboarder.
The sad thing is, that guy who hosts that MTV show. What's it called?
Which one?
The one that's
Rob Dryjek?
Yeah.
No, but he actually was a BMX rider or something.
No, I know
There
he
are all
was.
these
I know he
comics
was.
who
But here's the
dress
thing.
like
it's
Rob
no,
Dyrdek.
I know. Yeah, you're right. There's open micers who do the same thing.
Who are like, in their mid-40s who want to seem like they're in their mid-30s.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to trick
I get it.
everybody.
Yeah, I know. I still think Rob though.
They tell
at
jokes
his age,
about lime
when I
scooters.
watched him on that show recently, I'm like, it looks like if you don't know who he is, he just looks like someone's dad who's trying to fit
Cool.
in
Yeah, he's
with
trying
the
to be
kids.
cool.
Yeah, and it just like, I think everybody, no matter what you've done in life, you have to accept when you're at that point. Where it's
Yeah.
like, I can't do this. Like, for instance, I can use myself as an example. I used to wear Hot Topic shirts all the fucking time. Like Vader Zim, I know. And dude, for way too long. Like it was a good 3-4 years where I was like still trying to push it. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I'm a young looking. I can get away with this. And just one day I was looking in the mirror. I'm like, I saw a picture of myself. I was like, dude, you are a freak. Like you are pathetic. Like get over it. Like you cannot wear all-time low shirts anymore. That's just not who you are.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. And so I gave it up. You have to give up those things about yourself at some point.
Or to just never have them.
Well, that's not. I mean, you can have them if you're the right age. If it works for you, it works for you.
I don't think I have any of that stuff.
No, I feel like you've always. What did you look like when you were younger?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, like this guy.
Pretty much.
I had this hair is tight, this stuff like that. Were you a tall kid, or were you one of those kids who was short and then had a spurt?
No, I was always like kind of tall.
So you were slaying in high school then, weren't you?
No.
You weren't.
I was pretty much alone.
Do you look back and realize you had more opportunities than you thought you did, or do you really think you just couldn't figure it out?
I just isolated myself. I was the lone Jew at a Catholic high school.
Oh, you were at a Catholic high school?
Yeah.
Shit.
And I just got weird about socializing.
Did they know you were a Jew?
Yeah.
Did that play into anything?
Maybe. I was so clueless. I was getting made fun of for being Jewish, and I was just confused. I was like, why are they singing Hava Nagila when I walk through the hallway? Seems odd.
They all did it.
I was just a space cadet. I had no idea what was going on.
What?
I was probably a little bit like depressed. I don't know.
I was majorly depressed in high school.
But you couldn't at that age. I didn't have the emotional intelligence to put my finger on it. So I was just like, oh, I feel kind of tired. Maybe I'll stay in. And then you do that for 4 years, and you're like, I haven't talked to anybody.
Yeah, no, when I didn't realize I was depressed until I looked back on it, and I was like, oh shit! Like coming back home from school after like doing nothing,
Yeah.
and just crawling into bed and falling asleep to Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
It's like that's depression. That is 100% depression.
I had a whole summer. I think this was just after high school, but there's still some residual stuff.
Yeah.
And there was nothing dramatic that happened. It was just kind of depressingly uneventful all of high school. But I think maybe after my freshman year in college, I spent a summer just drinking NyQuil and watching Laguna Beach.
See, I wish I did anything that cool.
That was not cool.
No, dude, I didn't trip. I didn't do alcohol. I didn't do it. I was such a I literally went home, watched Gilmore Girls, watched Yu-Gi-Oh, played Spy Hunter on my GameCube, and then just fell asleep and woke up at 8 or 9 p.m. and then masturbated the whole night away.
Well, in hindsight,
That was my entire high school career.
Days.
Yeah.
We waste a lot of time.
But
I
you
wish I had
have
started
but
stand-up.
you got thought. We both wish we'd started stand up
Yeah.
way sooner than we.
Totally
I wish we
could've.
had started this podcast about 20 years ago, dude. Like we would be.
Yeah.
If you.
And if we had started this when I was 19,
Holy shit, dude! We would have already gotten caught masturbating in front of somebody. We would already have
Yeah,
lost
I'd
our
be in big
careers.
trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, dude. I think a lot of people think to themselves like, if I ever became famous, I would be in big trouble. So that's why it makes them happy to see people who are.
that's why they
famous.
want to tear him down. Too.
Right, they want to justify their lack of trying.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
to me has always
That's
been
what's
the
happening.
whole entire process.
That's what the Me Too movement is to a large degree. That's what all this shit is.
That's what it's just a woman trying to tear people down.
Well, I mean,
No, I know what you mean. What it's turned into.
equality is great, but
Yes.
the reason we want to tear people down is
right.
because we're jealous.
Right. We want to, and we hate ourselves for not putting the effort out at all.
Right. It's the hindsight that's the problem. Why not just try to change things in the future?
And why not just sort of make something for you? Like, just accept you are where you are,
Right.
and you're 33. You haven't done as much as you want to do, and now you're starting a podcast in an office that you rented, live streaming on a YouTube channel that you're the only subscriber on. My point is, it's pathetic. It is though, but it's just like It's better than me going on like Twitter right now and like hashtagging fucking like Louis C.K.'s got to like quit comedy.
Yes. It's better than playing Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever the fuck you're talking about.
Watching Yu-Gi-Oh in your bed and falling asleep to Spy Hunter. Yeah, no, it's way better than that too. So I've come a long way is what you're saying.
Yeah, still pathetic.
100%. This is terrible. I should feel cool that I now have a business that I'm running, but at the same time I feel it's just much of
The thing is, starting out in comedy is pathetic.
Yes, you're right.
So you're guaranteed to start in a pathetic place. Everybody does.
Even honestly, to a certain degree, thriving in comedy is pathetic. That's what I love. That was my favorite thing about Tim Dillon's set when he was here. Is that like his joke about like why are we being held up as like the speakers of truth and like the highest form of art when like on Fridays we perform at like Dudley's in like Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like it's a very good point that like the comedy lifestyle, it looks very glamorous on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you have a special and you see that cool thumbnail, it's got the nice coloring, and they're in like a giant theater with 100,000 people, it looks amazing. But the actual day-to-day, you're just in like a small club in like fucking Colorado Springs with a bunch of 50-year-olds who don't even really understand.
They don't even
like,
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're just laughing because you're so peculiar to them.
Hey, I just mentioned that I was Jewish, not even as a joke, and they just went nuts.
Right. Oh, those freaks. Right. They're not very popular around here.
You don't see a lot of you around here.
Thank God. Good thing.
Yeah.
We'd kick you out.
No, they love it.
Yeah.
I heard Chris Stefano was talking about that. He says when he does the Midwest, he just emphasizes his accent.
Right. Yeah, and they laugh.
And they just laugh like crazy.
Yeah, that's that's what and that's why I was saying like how a lot of comics who do really well in like the East and West Coasts, they probably wouldn't do very well in the Midwest because they just don't. They're trying so hard to like talk on a cerebral level.
But there's some middle ground.
I'm thinking you can find a middle ground, but I think some people are so caught up in like the cleverness.
I'd rather that than just be a complete fucking hack who does well in the Midwest.
Oh yeah, I'm not just saying you should just go up and be like do a character. You'd be like, hey guys, I'm gonna tell you what you doing. Like really, you're just like
buy condoms.
What?
There's all that shit.
What?
It's like just easy jokes.
What was a
I got the best contraceptive. Me and my wife don't fuck anymore.
Dude, I saw a guy just like that when I was in Detroit. Yeah. Well, he was more like an old guy. He seemed like he'd been doing like you could tell when he was a kid.
He's an old hack.
Yes, he's an old hack, but an old hack that's like out of touch too, and like or like trying to
And he's probably killing.
No, he did not kill in this room.
I've seen those guys kill.
They kill on cruises and they kill in like really small rooms in retirement homes.
Shitty rooms.
Yeah.
Which most of America is full of.
We're doing a great job laying down the roots of our comedy careers here. Most rooms are shitty.
Well, I mean,
and I hope not to be a good comic inside of
it. Any room can be fun, and if they're selling tickets anywhere in the country, it'll be fun. But probably there's a good chance that really hacky, spoon-fed stuff is going to work in the middle of the country, anywhere.
Yes, I agree. Well, a lot of people don't. I think even more now than ever, actually. A lot of people don't think. Like, they don't think when they're listening to comedy. They're more so listening to the rhythm.
Well, they're thinking more now than ever, and they're still not thinking.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But it's just, you know what I mean, though? It's like you watch... I watch comics sometimes, and I watch the audience, and even when I'm on stage sometimes, I can see they're laughing more at, like, the intonation and, like, the signal to laugh than they're laughing at what I just said.
Yeah,
and it's just sad. It's just like, are you guys listening, or are you just, like, trying to, like, play the audience member?
Yeah, we should quit.
We should just do podcasts for the rest of our lives. It's way easier.
Well, but they like good comedy too. Everybody likes Dave Chappelle. He's good.
Not everybody likes Dave Chappelle.
Well, I guess not right
Rotten
now,
Tomatoes is not like Dave Chappelle.
But there are great comics who America seems to agree on, which is reassuring.
Yeah. I don't know. Whether Dave Chappelle, I don't know, dude. Like, who are the great comics that America agrees on?
Jim Gaffigan.
Okay, he's pretty good, yeah.
Brian Regan.
Okay, but you're talking about clean comics also who are not constantly
Dave Chappelle's in the conversation. Bill Burr's
I don't think
in
when
the
Brian Regan comes out with a
everywhere.
brand new special, people are like all talking about it. But is that not?
No, but everybody talks about how good he is.
Yeah, well, a lot of comics do.
Yeah.
I don't hear many. When I ask people who their favorite comics are, they don't bring up Brian Regan.
Yeah, it's because he's old.
And I just don't think he's.
They used to bring him up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan, I've heard.
Brian Regan sells tickets everywhere still.
He does?
Yes.
Okay, well that's good for him then.
Yeah. Like arenas in Utah.
That's what you want, man. You want to sell Madison Square Garden, don't you?
Who doesn't?
I actually like smaller
I know
rooms.
you just don't want to make money. I understand.
No, I don't not want to make money. I don't need an insane amount of it to feel successful.
I don't expect anything, but if I could sell a ton of tickets, I would sell tickets.
It would be cool, obviously, to be at the level that like the world wants to see me, and they don't mind sitting in like the third balcony in the farthest nosebleed section just to be in my presence live.
What a man of the people you are.
What are you trying to say? I'm not. You're the one who said I'm a basically Machiavellian lunatic who's just like spouting words of niceties, but really trying to just destroy everybody around him.
Yeah, I think you're still doing that. I think you'll have to be giving this speech in Madison Square Garden in front of a
I'm just a humble man, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't really want a room this big. I wish I could speak to every one of you individually.
You're making $1 million that night, and you're like, I feel sorry for the guy in the back.
Yeah, he doesn't get to have sex with a Thailand boy that I get to have sex with after this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say pedophilia is bad, and then you go fuck a kid after.
Right, exactly. I'm basically trying to become the next. What's that priest who like lives in Florida or whatever that has like millions of dollars but wouldn't let people in his house when it was flooding?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was a.
No, but it's like you'd be a guy who runs a mega church. It's all about God.
Right.
And they're just collecting money.
I'm not that guy. I don't know why everyone think. I think I'm capable of being that guy, but I don't think I am that guy.
No, I feel like you think that you don't want money, and then if you got the opportunity, you would.
I want money. I just don't want it to be all about money.
Well, it's obviously not all about money, or else
I want
I
want enough money to do what I want to do. But if I'm doing what I don't want to do for that money, then I don't want it.
Same here. And really, what I'd like is.
But you wouldn't mind being in Madison Square Garden.
I wouldn't mind it. I don't really see that happening. I'd like to be able to sell tickets on the road every weekend.
Yeah. That's all I want. I want a stable career. I guess what I want. I want to make enough money that I don't have to like do things I don't want to do for more money.
Right, that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's it. I don't need to have.
The immediate goal is to not have to have a day job, which really I don't at the moment.
You're killing it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm handing in my rent 3 days late today. I had to get a money order this morning.
Hey, dude, I'm moving to my car at this point, so it's just like we're all. That's what I realized. It's like LA is like the one city where you can go to and still live like you're in college till you're like 65.
Which keeps people young and also is really sad.
Yeah, no, I saw the young part back when I was 25. At this point, though, I'm just like, this is sad. It's just a sad
people
how many of us.
People look younger.
We look younger, but we also act really immature.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that we do, I think, are kind of like destructive to our personality and our life.
Yeah, most people here are self-destructive because not everybody can succeed.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of not succeeding, one thing I wanted to talk about, I was curious if you had anything about it, because this is a big day. I know no one's watching this, but this might become a good episode since we're talking about tonight's the night that Joker comes out. Do you think anything's gonna happen?
I'm staying away from theaters for a couple weeks.
A couple weeks?
Yeah.
So you think somebody might be like a sleeper? They're gonna wait till like a week so everyone gets comfortable. And then
First of all, I just paid my rent. I don't have any money. And why risk it?
I know, dude. I think I might go see it tomorrow, but I'm also still actually genuinely like a little bit. I think like if it was gonna happen, it would happen tonight. But then again, I guess sometimes they wait a day.
How can you predict this? You're like, I think shooters are really rational people. And we'll
hey,
only
dude,
shoot
I also
a
think
theater
everyone
the
still likes
first
Louis
night.
C.K. So clearly, I'm very bad at gauging.
Louis C.K. is
people's-
just as famous and socially accepted as he was before, and a shooter would only come the night of opening night.
I mean, that's
There
what
could be. What makes you think there's only one shooter? You don't think there's room?
That's what I'm worried about. It's like I
think
would
there's room for seven shooters?
This is one where I wouldn't be surprised if there was.
It'd be funny if two shooters showed up to the same theater,
but they weren't planning on it.
They're like, oh shit, you're shooting this place up too.
Do you think they start working together, or do you think they try to take each other out?
Yeah, probably just shoot each other and then
In the lobby, and that was the whole story. Just two shooters.
The
shot each other in the lobby.
Scientologists who work at ArcLight would just drag them out of the theater.
You mean ArcLight? Because that's pretty much a Scientology.
Well, they're all Scientologists.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I almost got a job at ArcLight. I went for the interview,
And
they kicked me out.
Chris had a job
They
there.
kicked me out the first round.
Chris got fired for wearing colorful socks.
Yeah, they're very Nazi-ish there. Nazi-ish? They're very fascist.
What word are you going for?
Nazi-ish? Nazi-ish.
Nazi-ish. Oh, okay.
You can get Nazi out of that.
I thought you were trying to say something else. I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
No, they're very fascist there. They're very strict.
I thought you were trying to say like an Italian pastry or something.
After they refused me a job. After they sent me home. After that, every time I went to ArcLight, I'd ask the people who work there, "Are you having a good time?" And they'd always be like, "No, this place sucks." I was like, "I almost got a job." They're like, "You're lucky you didn't."
Those people who give the speeches at the beginning of the movie are really sad.
Are they?
You've seen it?
I've seen. I don't know. They
Hey
the ones
guys, welcome.
I feel bad for them because nobody wants to hear them.
Yeah.
No one cares. Because I always go especially at a premiere for like a Marvel movie. Like no one wants to hear about where the exits are and how hard they're working to make sure the film quality is good. We're like, trust me, if something goes wrong, we will tell you.
Exactly.
We don't need you to reassure us. I'm going to be back in 10 minutes to make sure everything's going well. We don't give a fuck.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And then no one will say anything to you.
Right.
And then you'll go cry in a bathroom somewhere.
Well, hopefully not the public one. I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah. The private Scientology bathroom.
Go the Scientology bathroom and go cry there. I'm excited about the movie, though. I love how everyone's talking about it. I was thinking about it. I think this is like one of the best. It's funny how like for all the talk we make about media being like revolutionary and like changing minds and starting conversations, I've never seen a film have so much controversy around it and think that was a good thing. Like this is what people would want a film to do, right?
I don't know. I'm not really up to date completely. I know that people are excited about it. It's like the incel movie, incel anthem.
They closed down Brain Cells. They closed down the incel Reddit because
really?
in preparation for the movie. I mean, they don't say it out that way, but basically, like 2 days ago, Reddit decided to like just randomly up their moderate, like the way that they moderate like pages, and they just banned 10 pages, and incel was one of them, and it was apparently like a CIA list for like a possible like group that could end up creating a terrorist movement. I was reading articles about this.
It's not going to start a terrorist
I
movement.
know. But we
there is that guy who dresses like the Joker in Hollywood.
I know, and it's like,
I wonder what he's going to do.
I'm curious too.
He's been dressing like that for at least 3 years.
Because here's the thing: we all know he's a character, and we know he's a person who has been around here. But if he was walking to a movie, but if he walked into a movie theater that day, he's going to jail. There's no way he's even getting past the ticket booth.
That's true.
Yeah, no one's dressing as a Joker. I mean, you can't. I hope you're not dressed as a Joker. The night there's no way they'll let anybody
walk around with a handgun in your hand.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
you're pretty much walking around with an AR-15, being like, I'm walking probable.
Movie.
Yeah, I'm walking probable cause, and I want to go see this movie.
Yeah, you have a bat and you walk in.
I don't think they should ever let anyone dress up to go to the movies. I know it sounds terrible because I know a lot of people love doing it.
I don't think they should let anybody dress up. I think if you turn this into North Korea,
really?
No
we all have to wear uniforms and
communist China. Everyone wears the same outfit every day.
Yeah. You think that'll work?
Honestly, I don't like Halloween. I'd prefer to people
Really?
dress up.
You don't like Halloween? What's your favorite holiday?
I think it's goofy. I don't have a favorite holiday. Thanksgiving's nice.
That's funny. You don't have a favorite holiday, be like Thanksgiving, because why? You get to be grateful for all the shit you don't have?
You get the day off. You eat some food. Watch football.
Do you go to family when you do Thanksgiving? Because I don't spend time with family.
So I have.
Most of my Thanksgivings were me going to Wawa, getting myself a gobbler,
Really?
and going
By
back to my
yourself?
apartment alone and eating it and watching like
As a 5-year-old, you used
Yu-Gi-Oh
to do
and
that?
go to sleep in the funny splatter.
When you were in kindergarten, you go to Wawa and go home?
When I was a kid, we would have family dinners, and there were a lot of fighting. There was a lot of fighting.
Really?
So by the time I became like an adult and was on my own, I just didn't want to spend it with anybody because it was like, I remember when I was 13, 14, we started doing Thanksgiving just as like this is the immediate family. It was like me, my mom, my brothers. My dad would be like off like learning how to be an orthodontist, and I'd be like, this sucks. This is horrible. This is not fun. Like this is not.
You know what I've done
festive.
on Thanksgiving? Speaking of movies, since moving to LA, the first Thanksgiving I had in LA, I went to the movie theater and I watched 2 movies.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving.
Oh, really? When you
consecutively?
Wait, when did you come in LA? What day? Do you remember?
3 years ago.
And what was it near Thanksgiving?
No, it was like August.
Oh, okay. Because
So,
I arrived on the Black Friday after Thanksgiving,
so
which was a terrible idea.
yeah, it's not a good time to arrive.
Terrible.
2016, November 2016 was my Thanksgiving here, first one.
Yeah.
And I went and saw one movie, stayed in the theater, watched another one,
Yeah.
and it was great. I worked in the morning. I trained some
What movies was it?
woman from Mexico who doesn't.
This is your first day here?
First Thanksgiving here. I've been here for a few months.
Right. I got it now. What were the movies you saw?
I saw. They were great. They were both Oscar fucking
Well,
nominated
yes,
movies.
it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's during Oscar buzz.
And they really want that money back.
Yeah, I got a lot of people. Spam risk.
I like that it does that now. I like
Yeah,
that the phone's
it
just
is
being
nice.
straightforward. That Apple's like, look, let's just help people out. Let's just stop having let's stop being on the side of the debt collectors, and let's just help our customers know when someone's probably trying to steal money. From
No,
them.
it's cool.
Yeah. It's way
It
better
also
than
could
getting,
be
it's
wrong.
way better than getting that random ass number with the area code that matches your home.
But what if it's not spam?
They'll leave a message, hopefully. That's the thing. Like, it's like, if it's important enough, you're going to try to contact me a second way.
That's true. Text.
That's why I get annoyed when, like, Amazon, they'll just call you when they arrive and you don't answer, like, well, fuck it. I guess you don't want this thing. It's like, yeah, I do. I just don't answer random calls from Seattle.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the Seattle calls. That makes
Seattle
sense.
calls are typically Amazon.
Yeah.
Typically. But I'm sure, you know what, in my mind, I know the debt collector's going to realize that eventually, and they're going to just start calling from Seattle all the time. Being like, I know they probably have an Amazon package coming to them, so we'll get them this way. So I get afraid to answer them.
That's an interesting point.
If I have a debt, I actually do have one debt collection on me actually right now for $100 for Spectrum.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
I
And yet
got
we still have
so many-
Spectrum here.
I
We're
got
using
so many
Spectrum
different
Internet right
ones.
now for streaming this. They'll
think I
take
have-
your money no matter how they
I
can
have
get
a
it.
Spectrum one too.
Everyone probably does. Everyone has a modem that they threw out and didn't return and don't want to pay for.
Right. So I saw, what was it called? That Tom Ford movie.
Who's Tom Ford?
You don't know Tom Ford?
Is that a director?
He's a director, but he's also like a fashion guy too, who has made a couple movies.
Is it Call Me by Your Name?
No. No.
This sounds like something. I don't know who made that movie, but it sounds like it'd be like a fashion director would make that.
No, it's like an art film guy. It was Jake Gyllenhaal and Ava Adams.
I'm just trying to check the stream to make sure we're still going.
Nocturnal Animals.
I heard that was good.
That was great.
I heard that was really good.
Really good. So I saw that, and then I saw Manchester by the Sea.
That's really good too.
They're both great
That
movies.
one, that's a heart-wrenching movie, dude.
It was like 6 hours of sad movies.
Yeah, man.
It was incredible.
It
On
was great. It was
Thanksgiving-
great. It was the best
On
Thanksgiving ever.
Thanksgiving alone.
I want to kill myself by the end of it. They're just trying different numbers
I gotta
now.
turn
They're
my
just
phone
trying.
off.
They're just trying. I love how it's just like, okay, clearly that one was too obvious. Let's try a different number.
I'm going to airplane mode. But that was one of the best Thanksgivings I've ever had.
And you were alone.
I was totally alone the
Right,
whole time.
exactly. Yeah, that's the best way to celebrate holidays. Now, my birthdays I typically spend
I think
alone.
I had just moved into the apartment. I moved out of my car into an apartment.
Oh, that's
So I
awesome.
went and slept alone in an empty apartment.
That's great.
After watching
That's
those
the best
two
feeling in the
movies.
world.
It was pretty
When I
good.
lived in my car for a year, when I first moved to the first night I moved to my apartment was one of the best nights of my life, and one of the worst mornings I woke up with food poisoning. But
Mm.
it was a great feeling when I fell asleep.
But I've had fun Thanksgivings with my family. You
Yeah,
know?
I don't think I've had any. I've had two good holidays with my family. There was the first Christmas we had, which was amazing because I was a kid. I didn't know what Christmas was, and he didn't explain it to me. We just did like arts.
How
and-
old were you?
I was maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6. Bless you. I was like 6, and I remember what we did is we were making. I knew about stockings because everyone's hanging stockings, so we made stockings with my name on it and my brother's names on it, and my parents we're gonna put powder on the chimney because there's gonna be feet on it. You'll see Santa's gonna come visit the chimney. The way they explained it to me was that some guy was coming to visit that night while we were asleep. I know, but it was just sounded
Sounds
cool.
a lot worse than Christmas.
You know, maybe this is why deep down I'm neurotic. Is like my parents were just telling me people were gonna sneak into our house at night, but like that's all. And they're like, so we're gonna leave him cookies, and we're gonna leave him carrots for his reindeer that fly. And they're gonna go. I know, dude. They explained everything except the gifts.
Okay, so there's a schizophrenic guy who might come through the chimney tonight.
Yeah. And we're decorating the living room to welcome him.
Yeah.
We're decorating the living room
His
and leaving him
name's Sooty
food.
Tom.
His name is Santa Claus, and he's gonna come in here tonight, and he's gonna visit everyone's house, and especially our house. And we're leaving cookies for him. And I was like, and milk. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I was just kind of skeptic that this was gonna happen. I was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think what's you're telling me there's gonna be footprints on the flour.
Mm-hmm.
The cookies are gonna be gone. Like for some reason, I can't put 2 and 2 together. My parents are just gonna do this in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, well, it sounds fun. The world's new to me. I'm still learning things, whatever. Go to sleep, wake up, and then there's just thousands of gifts. I had no idea there was going to be gifts. Stockings are loaded with gifts. And I'm like, in my mind, there's no, where could they have hid this shit?
Right.
Where could this come from? There's no way my parents went to Toys R Us in the middle of the night and bought a bunch of gifts.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
So that was one of the best holidays ever. And then the other one was, what was that other holiday oh yeah, it was another Christmas. It was a Christmas years later, where because my dad eventually just canceled Christmas on us, like the night before Christmas. There was Christmas Eve. We went to Independence Day, and it was sold out. So we had to go home. And on the way home, we're like, well, at least we got gifts tomorrow. My dad goes, no, Santa's not real. We're Jewish, and we don't celebrate Christmas anymore.
Wow.
And I was like, that is fucked up that you would do this on Christmas
The night,
Eve.
yeah, the
Yeah,
night
that was
before.
that I was about 10 or 11.
Well, yeah, that'll ruin holidays for you.
My sister was like 4 or 5. She cried her eyes out. She was losing her fucking mind. I felt terrible for her, dude. She got me maybe 2 good Christmases before, and I don't think she even remembers them, before she missed out. But so then years later, I decided in like when I was like 13 to steal my mom's credit card, buy a bunch of gifts from Toys R Us, hide them, wrap them, and then we had Christmas trees for some reason. I don't know why. My mom was very goyish for like a Jewish person.
Mm-hmm.
And I just gave my siblings gifts. They woke up on Christmas and there was gifts waiting for them. They didn't expect
What did your
it.
dad do?
My dad was
Eat
so
mercilessly?
disconnected. My dad was so
just didn't
disconnected.
care.
Yeah, he didn't get. In his mind, he's just like, whatever. Who gives a fuck? I mean, like, your mother's wasting way more money than you are, so what do I care? Like, it just doesn't matter to him. My dad didn't care. He didn't even notice, probably. My sister loved it. My brothers loved it. And for once, I just felt really happy that I could, like, kind of bring back that spirit for one night or one day. I got my brother's, like, laser tag. I got my sister.
You're a great Samaritan, man. You're a great guy.
I'm an okay brother. I failed a lot according to them.
What do they do now?
Clayton's looking for a new job. He's probably going to be in the restaurant industry.
A Jewish guy named Clayton?
Is that an unusual thing?
Very.
Erickson, Clayton,
Those are all
Addison,
unusual.
Remington. These are all unusual names.
Those are not Jewish names. Those
Well,
are like wasp names.
Yeah, they are wasp. Maybe my dad was trying to help us fit into the
Maybe.
suburbs. Looking back, that might have been his
They
like.
get you work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think so. My name does not help me get work.
Yeah, being Jewish probably gets you work. It's
If
a
I
weird
tell him
plan.
about it.
It's the suburbs.
It's the suburbs. Yeah, no, this was a Jewish place. Clayton is looking for a new job. So he's currently visiting family right now. Addison works at NBC or CB, whichever one Universal owns.
NBC, I think.
NBC in Denver. He does like a lot of. He works on like the programming aspect of that. And then my sister works for like one of those ad companies that helps make sure that like whatever you're talking about near your phone shows up on your Instagram. That's what she does.
Probably
She
makes good
sells.
money.
She sells the ad space to other people, and makes a decent. Yeah, makes great money for it. But like, it sounds to me like she's just a salesman. Like she gets paid a lot of money to go around the country and just flirt with other business people to eventually just buy something that like some nerd, a bunch of nerds in like a little warehouse are like putting together and like doing numbers. She doesn't do the numbers stuff. She just does the whole sales pitch.
Yeah. It's a good job.
I'm just surprised how much money she makes. It feels like the kind of thing that if I had a business, I would just go online and find like that kind of service. You know what I mean?
You
I
could
wouldn't
cut her out.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
I don't need you to come to my office, sit down with me for 2 hours, and explain to me the process.
There's so many jobs like that, though.
Guarantee that this will get in front of 100,000 people that need it, and that's all I want to hear.
There are like, thousands upon thousands of HR people who make over $100,000 a year who don't need to have those jobs.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. I guess as somebody who doesn't make money, it just seems insulting to me.
Well, the company makes so much money, they're just shoring
Yeah, no,
up
they keep
everything.
her at bay by and all of her coworkers by just constantly sending them on corporate events. They just constantly get them drunk and liquored up in different cities and hotels.
Mhm.
Apparently, they got to see Nikki Glaser recently. Like they'll give them like stupid shows to watch
Huh.
that are corporate events. Like, that's when comics are talking about corporate events. That's what they're doing. They're going to a corporation to do an hour of stand for just a bunch of workers who are drunk off of Mai Tais
Uh-huh.
in San Francisco,
Uh-huh.
just to keep them feeling like their job is so fucking luxurious that they're living the luxurious lifestyle. That's what we're aiming for right now. We want to get corporate jobs so we can joke about like, oh, advertising, man, that's a crazy gig. Oh shit. Condoms, I don't even need to use them. I've been married for 12 years. What?
I just want to sell weed out of a garage. Or this office.
We'll get there, man. We'll get there.
Yeah, I don't want a real job.
That's why anyone goes to LA. I feel like you come here because you don't want a real job.
That's how I went to school.
And that's why I went here. I've been avoiding corporate America the whole time.
Did you really just come from school to here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, how long have you been here for?
3 years.
Oh,
I
you finished
grad
school a
school when I
little
was
late.
25.
Oh, you did grad school.
Yeah,
You did grad school.
yeah.
I guess.
Every fucking time I tell someone that, they're like, "You?"
No, I'm
Did grad school?
I know that's what it sounded like. This is more of those moments where I was like, "Oh shit, I totally forgot you told me that."
Well, and I think I always like pretend to get offended because it happens all the time here.
yeah.
People who I'm really close with, they're like, "Oh, I forgot that you ever spent a day in school." And I don't give the impression that I'm educated.
No, you do though, and that's why when you explained it to me, I was like, "Oh, that all makes a lot of sense."
Yeah, maybe it's true. I don't know. I was kind of a maniac the whole time I was in school, too.
You totally come off as somebody who got a degree in psychology and realized it was all bullshit.
Yeah. I started running psychology experiments and realized that I wasn't really finding anything out. And
That's some honesty right there, though. 'Cause
none
a
of
lot
the
of people don't have that.
Well,
that's what
they
makes you a good comic.
They want prestige.
Yes.
So they're just like, okay, maybe we're not really discovering anything, but people seem to respect this. I get paid good money.
Yeah.
What people who are in academia want is blind respect from people who aren't as educated, who don't understand the field of psychology, don't understand science.
Criminal.
They want to go to a dinner party and be introduced as a professor at Stanford, and people go, wow, that's really amazing. And then nobody asks any more questions because nobody knows anything about academia.
I love how you took up a line of study that's all about like studying ego, and all you found out is everyone's just ego driven.
Well, yeah, but ego is just one part of it, and there's no here's the irony of that. There's no accurate way to measure ego.
Yeah, I know.
You can't find anything out
it's
about
it.
it.
It's all just a concept.
Well, it's you're taking philosophy and then trying to add numbers to it and run stats on
Right, you're trying to make it
philosophy.
scientific, but it's
Which
not.
it's not a science.
Yeah, it's not science.
It's a bunch of bullshit. People are just making shit up, and they're like, oh, we got to run the numbers.
What is the most bullshit concept that you came across that's like, I don't know, that's
Well, here's
possibly
the thing.
being used today?
All of it.
All of it. It was all just 100%
no.
garbage.
Pretty much any theory based on hindsight bias is going to be interesting. Any study that gets conducted that gets some funding from a university or from gets grant money from National Science Foundation or something. They're all interesting ideas.
Yeah.
And there's always some kernel of truth, but there's no way to conclusively prove that it's the case. So none of it's complete bullshit, but you also can't prove any of it. So you live in this limbo space where none of it really fucking matters at all. What's the relationship between blank and blank? There probably is a relationship, but we're never actually going to find out what the actual relationship is.
Right. And does that frustrate you?
It did when I was in school. Now I don't. Now I just don't read science. I don't read psychology studies anymore.
The lack
like
of
everybody else in America. There's 30 people who read psychology studies, and they're all professors.
I tried reading one. I was actually going to bring that up on this podcast, but I was just like, I don't want to be like one of those podcasts that talks about articles that came out like a week ago.
Well, that's the other thing. The way that scientific research is represented journalistically is incorrect. Almost
that's
always.
The thing. This guy posted an article, and like the one quote that stood out to me apparently was one that stood out to him, which was like apparently there was a study where they realized that men who listen to like misogynist jokes are more likely to rape. And I was just like, how
That's
the
hilarious.
fuck? And then here's the thing: it linked to the study, and I started reading the study, and it was just like. I just apparently what they would do is they would tell these guys a misogynist joke, and then they would then they give them 3 different premises to see how they respond to it. And one of the premises was you have like a coworker, Janine, who you're attracted to. You take her back to your place. You go up, you invite her up, or you invite yourself up to her place, and you start trying to make out with her. She clearly doesn't want it, but you tell her that it would be beneficial to her job if she did this. How likely are you to do this? And they all said more likely, and I was just like. No, like what guy?
Well, first of
Do
all,
a joke?
It's all correlation and not causation.
Right.
You can't prove causation. You'd have to basically interview someone post rape to find out anything, and that'll never happen. Or you'd have to run a study where half of the participants are normal people and half the people are convicted rapists.
That was the crazy thing about this. There was 3 different experiments I did. I only got through one of them because apparently this, of course, because in great capitalist procedure, the website would lock you out after like 10 minutes unless you signed
That's
up
great.
for a subscription
So
to
it's just a scam.
the research. So I was like,
Some-
okay, I
some
can't
journal or
keep.
something.
Yeah, it's some.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like they don't make money. But
These
they have
journals
all
don't
these-
make any money.
Right.
It's all funding coming
Right.
from nowhere.
So they need to somehow find a way to get people to give them shit.
Right.
So like you can read this great fucking long ass like 100-page essay on this experiment about how guys become rapists from listening to misogynist jokes, but you got to give us $20 a month. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
So
The only people who subscribe to journals are other academics.
Right.
It's this insular community.
but they said that it was weird. They said they had a control group, and all the control. I forget what the control group was, but it was just like it was basically like we just told them like different jokes, and I'm
Yeah,
like, well,
jokes
that's
that
not.
weren't about
yeah,
rape.
I'm like, well, that doesn't prove anything. Like.
Well, what they're trying to prove is if your sense of humor has a bent towards disturbing stuff,
Yeah,
then you're
misogyny
more
or
likely to rape.
racism.
But how about you talk to someone who's actually raped? Because that's not what the study involves.
I know.
So it's not proving anything.
I know.
You're just proving that that certain people have a certain sense of humor, and on a piece of paper they might answer some questions.
It's just beyond my ability to comprehend how anyone would ever answer a questionnaire being like, you're basically forcing yourself on a woman in this premise. How likely are you to do this? And then being like, oh, very likely.
And also keep in mind who the people are in the study.
These were mostly college students.
Students at one university in America. That's not a good sample size to generalize to a whole population.
Yeah.
30 kids who go to Michigan State, you can't generalize that to all of the world or all of the country.
Well, yeah, that's what we do now.
That's how psychology studies are run.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure you don't harm them. How are you going to find anything out not harming people?
Oh my God, I love it. I want to see you run one of these fucking things. How are you going to make progress without harming somebody?
They have an institutional
That's
review
exactly
board.
what Mendelsohn
Well, they used
said.
to run interesting studies, and then they developed this review process where they said, oh, you can't shock someone. You can't put someone in prison for a week and make them starve to death.
I mean,
that's how
true,
you
that's
actually
true,
find stuff
But that is
out.
how you find. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, like that Mindhunter show, which I think takes place back in like the past, which is kind of based on reality when they were actually interviewing like psychos, like
Right.
murderers. That was helpful. They were creating actual schemas about how these people think.
Yeah, it tells
because
you
they'd
something-
actually done shit.
It's a nice case study about abnormal psychology, but even then, you're never able to completely generalize to the whole population. When somebody runs cancer research on fruit flies,
Yeah.
they can use 10,000 fruit flies. You can
Yeah.
kill half of them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
With human beings, if you killed 5,000 people, you'd be locked up.
Right.
So you can't run a good study with human test subjects, really.
I agree.
It's very hard to do.
But that's medicine.
I'm talking about psychology, though.
Right. Well, you don't have to, you're saying you got to kill some people to get a good psychology
gotta kill a
measurement?
couple people.
Got to kill a couple people to
Yeah.
make sure you know what the fuck they're thinking?
Yes. Give me a couple.
Do you remember that study? I don't remember what it was, but it was one where it's like they brought testers in and they would like press a button every time someone got it wrong.
That's the.
And then they'd be shocked
Oh,
and they'd
it was-
scream
it was
bloody
a fake
murder.
shock.
No, that's what I'm saying. But what they didn't know was it was a fake
Right,
shock,
right.
but people really leaned into it.
That was before the IRB. That's one of the
What's
studies
IRB?
I was referring to, the Institutional Review Board that determines whether or not people are in.
Oh, it was before the IRB, even though they were faking
This
it.
was pre-IRB.
Okay.
And the IRB would not allow for that now because it would do psychological damage to the people watching
tested.
the study. It was the
Ah.
Milgram obedience.
Yeah, that whole psychological damage thing really does hurt us in discovering a lot of shit.
We're not in psychology. We're not discovering anything. We're just
Yeah,
not.
but I mean, we fear traumatizing people so much now that we can't really go we can't investigate things anymore.
Yeah. That was the Stanley Milgram obedience experiment.
It sounds really.
It's a great
when I
experiment.
heard about it, I was like, that is fucking
There's
amazing.
good footage of it.
It's probably terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's a great sample size of just how fucking malicious we can be.
Yeah.
In the name of science.
If
If anything,
well,
it
no, but
supports your point about
it's-
how with science you have to be willing to hurt people.
Well, it's a study on demand characteristics. So within a study, if someone's wearing a lab coat and they tell you to do something, you'll do whatever they say, which proves that in that condition,
Yeah.
you're not controlling for confounding variables. So if you're in a lab, you'll do whatever the guy says. That's not an accurate representation of what's going to happen in the real world.
True.
It tells you what's going to happen in the lab.
Right.
But you can't generalize that to anything.
Right. You shouldn't generalize anything.
That study conclusively proved, in my opinion, that you can't generalize lab results with human test subjects on a psychology premise to anything other than what happens in a lab.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. So that's what I was thinking about the whole time.
What it proved to me was that I think that a lot of people just want an excuse to hurt people. I know that's completely
not
me
what they found.
projecting. I know. Well, just in my mind, I'm like, who's this guy who's just like leaning into the button, even though the person's screaming? Because apparently they would scream insane. They were like,
Maybe they liked it. I don't know. That's
think-
interesting.
I
I don't
think
know. I don't think they measured that, but that is interesting.
I think some people like the idea of hurting people, especially if they think they're
Sure.
doing it. They're doing it in a whole. I mean,
Yeah, and they're all going to see the Joker tonight.
and pretend like they're offended.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It was. This is not. Is this the movie we need right now? I don't know. That's what's funny to me is just like people like talk about movies and how like the best movies in our lifetime have really like shaken up like the status quo and made people think and created a lot of conversation. And they want it to be movies like Black Panther, where it's like, oh, it's an all black cast, it's a great celebration of us moving forward. But it's like, and that's great and stuff. But the movies that really stick for like years to come are the ones that leave people like from the theater talking a lot about like not necessarily how great it was, but like whether or not they liked it and whether or not they agreed with it
Right.
or understood it. So I'm just kind of I don't know. It's just kind of maybe that's what it is. Maybe everyone's angry that it's still about a white guy, and that's what everyone's talking about.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's everyone thinks it'll be the first superhero movie or like comic book movie to win an Oscar, and they're all pissed off. They're all been like, but it's only because it has a white guy as a main character. I'm like, how's that?
Doesn't make any sense.
What is it
Black
like?
Panther got a nomination purely because it has black people in it.
Right, but and in their mind,
It's not a good movie.
but in their mind, exactly.
Moonlight's a great movie. And it
Moonlight
won,
was a great movie.
and that's good.
Right.
Black Panther's a horrible movie, but it's good for black people.
Right.
So it was nominated.
But that's what's so funny about people's arguments. They're really like, it's like in their mind, the people who think it should have won think it was an incredible movie.
Yeah, it's insane.
But they have no.
It's not an incredible movie. It's an incredible step for our society.
I don't even know
or
it's an
something.
incredible step for our
There's an
society. because
argument
it's
for
all
that.
it's all marketing. It's all just like we know right now people will pay money for this, so we're making it.
Yeah, no, Marvel's taking advantage of America, definitely.
All studios are just trying to
Yeah.
figure out. Although it is kind of funny how like because normally like one studio does something, everyone follows suits and try to like capitalize on it. It's funny that there hasn't been like a bunch of black superhero movies coming out afterwards.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about.
I don't know. I guess
Because it did really well.
it did exceptionally well. But I guess my question is if DC suddenly came out with like I don't know what black
Yeah.
guy they've got.
Blackwoman.
Black Woman. Honestly, if they had made
You could
Aquaman
swim?
Blackwoman, I would have definitely watched that movie.
What?
That's a good movie.
Blackwoman.
Yeah, he's the only black man who
Who
can
can
swim.
swim.
Yes, there you
Well,
go.
The funny part is that he just swims.
Yeah, no, he's not. Everyone thinks he's a superhero, but he's just a swimmer.
In a race against 6 swimmers, he'll come in third.
He doesn't even swim well.
Yeah, yeah.
He just swims, but he's
just
black, so people
he's a
think
competent
so people
swimmer.
think he's an alien.
That's good.
People think he's from another planet.
Yep.
Yeah, they think the yellow sun gives him the ability to swim.
They're
They're always saying like, "What is the dolphin saying?" He's like, "I can't talk to dolphins." Like,
Yeah.
no, we know you can talk to dolphins. You can swim. So clearly, you are from this another underwater like civilization.
really just a movie about a stereotype.
I think that's
Yeah.
and once again, I think everyone would be talking about that. That could be Joker for an Oscar.
Well, if Jordan Peele made it, it would be pretty good, probably.
Exactly. Exactly. Dude, I think Jordan Peele could make a lot of good movies. I think he just has to stop making horror films. But I know that's what he wants to make.
Yeah,
I thought Us was.
I wish
like,
he would change it.
Yeah, I think he should just make
Comedy.
like comedy, but comedy with like a point
That'd
to
be
it's
fun.
fine. Yeah, but I think he can make a good comedy.
Yeah. He's funny.
Did you notice how Universal Studios their Fright Fest or whatever they call it this year? You know how they do that Halloween of Horror Nights or whatever like every year. This year the themes are Us, Ghostbusters, and Stranger Things.
Ugh.
So it's not even like horror anymore. It's just nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's nostalgia and politics. That's all
It's
it
too
is.
complicated.
Which is like it's just like I'm not trying to be like an old man, but it's just like the idea was they would take like zombie genres and like horror films,
Right.
and make them like live like you could go into haunted houses based off of them. But like, what's a haunted house from Stranger Things? Is it to be a bunch of those like fucking like face hugger guys just running around? You're gonna see 11 behind like some glass making like a Coke can like crumble or something. I'm just saying, it's just so weird to me that like that's their pitch. Us. What are they gonna have like actors who look like you,
Right.
walking around in red pajamas, threatening you with scissors?
I don't know. Doesn't sound good.
And then Fright Fest is the one that Six Flags does, and there's a big post that says Fright Fest brought to you by Snickers. I'm like, way to undercut the horror of that situation. Like I know it's Halloween, but when you have a big Snickers logo under Fright Fest, it just makes me think like this is a joke.
It is a joke.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just a money making scheme.
The thing I was going to say about education is...
Oh yeah.
No, in LA, I think it just matters so little to people. Education doesn't mean anything, so everybody just forgets.
What do you mean?
You're like, I forgot that you were in school for a while.
Yeah, you're right. Well,
no one here is educated. It
and I
doesn't
think
matter.
and I think everybody wants to think no one's educated here.
Yes.
It makes you feel
Everyone likes
better
to
to
live in
believe we're
denial.
all a bunch of dropouts trying to
Yes.
figure it out on our own. Because if you meet somebody who, like you, has gone to grad school and a good one,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess it's good that everyone chooses
They
to
see
forget it.
they only are jealous of how fortunate you've been. They see you as like wasting your good fortune.
Maybe. I don't even think it's about that. I just think that it's not on anybody's radar. Nobody cares.
Well, I mean, I think when they hear it, because I've seen you tell it to people. I've seen that look in their eyes, kind of like just where like you're
I'm different.
Yeah, their perception of you is shifting. They're like, oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah. I remember that one girl we were talking to. She was like, oh shit, you are educated. Like,
Who? The Florida girl?
no, the other girl who has a trans kid and was talking about it on stage.
Oh, well, no, she's the kind of person who would love that.
That's what I'm saying. Her, I could see in her eyes like this shifting of
'cause she's
respect.
a fucking pretentious piece of shit.
You guys could do schools.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we do them?
Yeah, and she's like, I went to this tiny liberal arts school. I'm like, oh, cool.
No,
Congrats.
no
You
shit.
just wasted a lot of money. That's all you did.
Oh, she was saying how she played in a liberal arts school. It's like, well, yeah, of course you did.
No, that's right. She went to one of those.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, I've heard of that. And she's like, yeah, you have because it's good, right? No, I'm like, no, I just know the liberal arts
I went to
schools.
3 different schools and
They're
dropped
all
out
a
the
waste
first
of
semester
money.
every time.
It's good. You didn't waste that much money.
I didn't waste that. That's the one thing I'm very grateful and lucky for
I
is
wish
that
I
I don't
had
have I don't have. Do you still have school loans?
No, thank God.
How'd you get rid of those?
Well, a lot of my grad school was covered, and I got some financial aid in undergrad.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So I didn't.
Although it's kind of
I'm
like
an only child and I'm
you know what's
Jewish.
funny though is it's kind of like a gift of the magi because what I've learned is that if you do just pay off like just the minimum on your school loans,
Yeah.
your credit always stays good
Oh, that's
because
nice.
it's like that's all credit bureaus want to see is that you will put yourself in tremendous amounts of debt but still always pay the interest.
Right.
That's the reason why my score has gone up is because I have a loan on my car.
No, that's smart.
And the first time I did, I just paid it all off in 3 months, thinking they'd be like, "Oh, this guy's fucking responsible." Nothing happened to my credit. Now it's
You
been
do it
6
slowly.
months. I think I'm up to like 700 now. I'm like,
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ,
that's
dude! Like, I'm
interesting.
not that responsible. Like, well, we love the fact that you just still owe money and we'll pay more.
Well, I fucked up by not getting in debt.
No, I still think it's better not.
In
I mean,
school.
you don't have as much debt as you could have.
I have plenty of debt, but I established
Wait,
all of it.
how long has the credit card thing been going on yet? Because they'll sue
2
you at
years.
some point. Have they sued you yet? I guess they can't find you.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the run.
Yeah, that's good. This will help.
Yeah.
They'll never find it though. They'll never find us. Okay. What else? Is there anything else we need to cover? We've gone an hour though.
Oh, we're good then.
Yeah, I think we got everything we needed to do. I think
Yeah.
this is actually better that Mary Elaine Ramsey isn't here.
Well, we should have guests on.
Oh, we're definitely doing it. This is just the first test run. Like, let's just get like something up there. Let's beat Dave. What's his name to the punch?
Who?
When I showed you how to post yesterday, be like, "Hey guys, you're gonna be like a hangout podcast." What would
Dave
with
Neal,
rotating go
yeah.
Dave Neal? Yeah, we just want to beat him to the punch.
What
Be
would
like-
be your ideal hangout
Yeah.
podcast?
I'm thinking 3 to
Yeah.
4 friends and rotating guests. Oh, you mean
know
like
what?
every other
You know what
hangout
my
podcast
ideal
that exists?
podcast would be not a hangout podcast. I don't want to fucking hang out with anybody.
Well, it's just funny because what he described was like every single podcast that's ever been successful. Like every radio show has been successful.
know.
It's like he basically described the Howard Stern show. I'm thinking like 4 to 3 friends who hang out all the time and then
Yeah.
rotating guests. It's like, yeah, like basically like every radio show that's ever been successful in history.
Cool beers.
What?
You know, like a fucking
Get some brewskis. We'll sit
keg.
down. We'll talk about the morning politics.
some joints.
Jesus
You know what I mean?
Christ.
Like
I do think
that's
actually
what people are gonna say.
I do think joints and weed are actually like hurting entertainment a little bit in that way. I think it's great to get high, and I think it's great that it's legal. But the fact that now like everyone is getting high on set and
No, it's
like
not
during
good.
stage time, it's like that. Like that's why I think you're seeing so many people. I mean, audiences don't laugh when they're high. It's been my experience.
Yes.
They're typically, especially at least at open mics, but even like on shows, unless you're doing really simple like silly humor, like
So people can't pay attention.
right, they're just lost in their own fucking head. And
agree
then
with
when
that.
people are entertaining and they're getting high, it's kind of funny if the whole joke is they're fucking high.
Yeah.
But other
they
than
can't
that,
just do
there's
their
just
act.
nothing that is particularly.
There's some
entertaining.
comics who are high when they're on stage, and that's what they do every time.
Nikki Bond actually did her first
Yeah.
set high here, and
I
it was
thinking
hilarious.
Dave Chappelle, but Nikki Bond's the same.
No, that's the same caliber.
Yeah.
It's the same. Nikki
Yeah.
Bond pretty much is the next Dave Chappelle.
No, totally.
If we're being
'Cause
honest.
in that they're both high on stage.
All the time.
Yeah.
Even though she only got high once, she'll never stop.
I think Joe Rogan gets high before he goes on. There are
He,
people
he
who
gets
get
high on his podcast too, but he is one of those guys who's practiced getting
He's high all the time.
and he's
that's-
also just
Dave
asking
Chappelle
questions.
is that kind of guy too.
Yes, he is also
He's
one of
high
those
all
guys
the
too.
time.
He's high all the time. If that is who you are, fine.
Right.
But this whole thing where I can just see that like you're just getting like
No, it doesn't help.
It's the first time you got high all day, and you're doing it on your podcast or you're doing it on stage. I don't know. Just like Dave Chappelle and Rogan have been doing that for decades.
Same thing's true of drinking.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the exact same thing. Now it helps an audience. If everybody's drunk,
Audiences
the audience
are
is
better when they're drunk. I would even say I think drunk is an easier way to function than being high. I know high really confuses you. Drunk just kind of lowers your inhibitions.
That's true.
So you'll say a lot more ridiculous shit that'll make you funny. But I don't see a lot of people who smoke pot and just become like excessively
Hilarious.
truthful.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I've seen people like I've never seen anyone like get high and start like supporting the Iraq war. But I've seen plenty of people get drunk and saying we should bomb Israel.
I always feel less funny when I'm high.
I'm definitely less funny when I'm high and drunk because I'm already in my head enough, and
Yeah.
I just go even further into my head when I get high and drink.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. You know, I'm jealous actually of people. I'll never forget. I saw Michael Longfellow one day at the Wake and Bake mic back when that was the thing, and he took a huge drag right before he went on stage, and he just got hilarious. He just became hilarious. Like he was already funny, obviously, but like he was just like he was joking about being high on stage, and the way he did it was just like that's comedy genius right there. I was like I could never do that. I would just sit there, looking out in the distance, being like this sucks so much. I did do a set there high one time.
Yeah.
And it was awkward for everybody.
Yeah, I don't like doing it.
You could just feel it was awkward. I'm like, well, this sucks, but we're stuck here.
Right. I feel like if everybody in the audience is high, you should probably be high too.
I don't think so. I think if you're good high, yeah. But it's like I've been high when the whole audience is high. That happened, that whole situation, and it was just awkward for all of us.
That room sucks.
Well, that's gone. Room's gone, thankfully.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's,
okay.
oh yeah, no, that I was almost thinking about building this office in that spot because it's still
really?
available, but it just makes no sense. It's just the layout of the place is not good for anything.
No.
You walk in, it's a room where you basically it should be a dispensary. I don't know why it isn't just a dispensary.
Right.
But they were trying to they were trying to do that Amsterdam thing where you pay like a monthly things don't work in LA unless you're a gym, and even then I think a lot of people don't pay.
Well, they pay, they just don't go. It works for gyms.
Yeah, I guess so. But I just think
That's
like
the gym model.
a monthly fee to like go to a weed dispensary. Weed smokers, they're all impulsive. They're not going to want to spend like $80 at the beginning of the year
Oh, that's true.
just to get a discount on their joints.
Yeah. All right, we done here?
Yeah, fine, we're done.
That was good.